Read the next, go ahead. That she's not my type? Yeah, because it's not politically correct to say it, and I know that, but I'll say it anyway. She's accusing me of a woman that I have no idea who she is. The worst thing you can do, the worst charge, and you know it's not true too. You're a political operative also. You're a disgrace. But she's accusing me, and so are you, of and it never took place. And I will tell you, I made that statement and I said, well, it's politically incorrect. She's not my type. And that's 100% true. She's not my type.
Referring to her physical looks, correct?
Just the overall. I look at her, I see her, I hear what she says, whatever. You wouldn't be a choice of mine either, to be honest with you. I hope you know. I would not, under any circumstances, have any interest in you. I'm honest when I say it.
Stop, please, look, stop. Okay, I am sorry. And I hereby swear my undying allegiance to you. You are the f***ing man.
The only difference between me and other people is I'm honest.
I've come here today to announce my candidacy for the Democratic nomination for President of the United States. Will be to end the corrupt merger of state and corporate power that is threatening to impose a new kind of corporate feudalism on our country, to commoditize our children, our Purple Mountain's majesty, to poison our children and our people with chemicals and pharmaceutical drugs, to strip mine our assets, to hollow out the middle class, and keep us in a constant state of war.
Bobby Kennedy Jr. and Donald Trump. On the surface of it, there couldn't be a greater contrast between any two political candidates, and yet I say to you that they are the dream team. Let me show you how. You see, tell me which of these two candidates here is despised by the establishment of their own party, who's doing everything they can to stop their run for the presidency. Answer? Both of them. Exactly. And that's what makes them the dream team, because these two have a lot more in common than you might think. You see, Donald Trump is the one who has reigned supreme. There is no Joe Biden over his shoulder like there is over Bobby's shoulder. Donald Trump has roundly defeated already Ron DeSantis in his bid to go forward for the presidency. But he has been opposed every step of that way by his own party, who, in collusion with the Department of Justice in the United States and the media, are about to deploy a wave of legal allegations against Trump, trying to stop him, but they won't succeed. So he's definitely the presidential candidate here. But Bobby Kennedy's in exactly the same position, and a welcome change in the Democratic Party to have somebody actually articulating what used to be the Democratic Party policies in the shape of Bobby Kennedy. And yet we know that his own party, look what they did to Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders had deeper roots in the Democratic Party. It's unlikely that Bobby's going to succeed. But what if the two were to team up together? What if Bobby was to become the vice presidential candidate before this deal is done in 2024? Outrageous. The thought of it, you say. Could not be. How could it be? And yet, things will never be the same again, because we're in an entirely new era already. Now, on Monday, the 8th of May, at 8 p.m. London time, on the eve of Victory Day, and I'll have a report on Bakhmut and Victory Day and what all that means. What all that means is that we are in an entirely new political, social, geopolitical, economic era. Now, we have passed through. This is the other side of what we were in for the last 20 years. And so everything is possible, including this, because these two are closer than you think. You see, when Donald Trump became president, he actually offered Bobby Kennedy an amazing position once before. This is Bobby Kennedy in Trump Tower, moments after he came down from a personal meeting with Donald Trump.
President-elect Trump was very thoughtful on the issue. He asked me to chair a commission on vaccine safety.
Vaccine safety.
Yeah. And scientific integrity.
Did you request the meeting, or did his team call you?
He called
And what is it that you're looking for in terms of policy on the vaccines?
to make sure that we have that we have scientific integrity in the vaccine process for efficacy and safety of vaccines. President-elect Trump has some doubts about the current vaccine policies, and he has questions about it. He says his opinion doesn't matter, but the science does matter, and we ought to be reading the science, and we ought to be debating the science, and that everybody ought to be able to be assured that the vaccines that we have, he's very pro-vaccine, as am I, but that they're as safe as they possibly can be.
And you said
So before you think that he couldn't possibly pick Bobby Kennedy as his vice presidential running mate, just consider what he did there. And also bear that into mind when people try to tell you that Trump was soft on the vaccine issue and didn't challenge appropriately, because this is his political persuasion that you're seeing here. He picked up the phone, he called Bobby Kennedy, he proposed it. Did it happen? No. Big Pharma went ape and dumped a whole load of money on Trump, number one, and a whole lot of political pressure also. And in the early days of his administration, it was a battle that was just too hot to fight, and Bobby Kennedy was cut loose. It never happened. But look a little deeper into Trump and you'll find that he's got skepticism, healthy skepticism, at least, about this issue. Here's Trump in a debate dealing with the question of vaccines and autism.
There's people that work for me just the other day. 2 years old, 2.5 years old, a child, a beautiful child, went to have the vaccine and came back, and a week later got a tremendous fever, got very, very sick, now is autistic. I only say I'm in favor of vaccines. Do them over a longer period of time, same amount.
Thank you.
Just in little sections.
Dr. Carson.
And I think you're going to see a big impact on autism.
His opponent responds with the official position that there's nothing to see here. Watch Trump's reaction.
We have extremely well-documented proof that there's no autism associated with vaccinations.
He's not buying it. He's not buying it. Trump's position on vaccines and Bobby Kennedy's position on vaccines are the same. They believe that they're in favour of vaccines in general, but the safety issues are not being addressed properly, and that needs to be looked at. So what do you think Bobby Kennedy would give, as in his eye teeth, for a position where he was made that offer by Trump again in the context of a presidential run, for coming on board as a vice presidential candidate in association with Trump? Is that going to happen? It's not going to happen if Trump is outweigh and clear in the race against Joe Biden and confident of victory, and if all the indications are that no amount of massaging of the political process and aspects of voting that might work against Trump would be a factor. If he thinks he's going to make it, with the existing structure, then yes. But if there's any doubt, this would be a bold move. Bobby Kennedy will do business with him. These two can do business with each other. And it would pull in a huge chunk of independents and disillusioned centrist Democrats who are tired of what the Democratic Party is doing. And they might also be extremely angry at the fact that Bobby Kennedy didn't make it against Joe Biden, which is the expected outcome. Pulling those kind of people on board, in addition to his own home base, which he's got in the Republican Party, will be enough to give him a clear run at the presidency and a new centre. Because in wrapping up this issue, let me say that these two, whether they come together or not, this is the new radical centre. The radical centre. Why is it the radical centre? Because those on the two extremes who are currently in charge of our politics have called these two people radicals. But they're not. They're in fact meeting in the middle here. They are the new face of politics post the 8th of May, 2023. Let's deal now with the 9th of May, 2023 and Victory Day, centering around Bakhmut. or what used to be Bakhmut. This is part of the smouldering, smoking ruins of what used to be the centre of the residential citadel area, which was heavily shelled overnight by Russian forces. It's not the only part of the city that's in this state. The entire city is literally devastated. The entire city is gone. Bakhmut's gone, folks. It's gone. Here's what it looked like being lit up with phosphorus weapons last night as they rained down. These deadly weapons just kill anything that's in that zone. And these weapons were used by the United States in Fallujah when there was a civilian population. This time it's been used where there is military. Folks, there's a reason. There's a reason why you're not seeing all the details of what's going on here. Because this isn't like World War II. This is like World War I. They were fighting each other in muddy trenches north of Bakhmut. In World War I style trench warfare, folks, in the last couple of weeks. That's what's been going on. This is what's been going on. This is just destruction. It isn't war. There's very little of it involves like combat between infantry. This is just weaponry, and absolute destruction. And if you'd been able to see this stuff going on, you would have been on the streets a long time ago calling for an end to it. But there's no end to it unless it's stopped, and it's being stopped right now. Because the flaming ruins you just saw are those in this circle here, the last remaining holdout of Ukrainian forces. It's over. It's over. Don't buy the diversions that have been floated for months now about whether or not it was a good idea to defend Bakhmut so highly, whether that was a tactical error or not. They had to, and Bakhmut was the jewel in the crown. Bakhmut was the citadel that could not be taken. Bakhmut was the thorn in Russia's side it would not be able to dislodge. Bakhmut was the place where Russia would go to die. Instead, the ruins of Bakhmut are in Russian hands for Victory Day. And that linchpin, pivotal victory is a signal that it's not going to be any different in the long run. It's just going to be more of the same. More cities reduced to rubble. We've got to have peace. It is time for peace. 9th of May 2023. Victory Day for Russia will be a victory for all of us against the New World Order. A victory won in blood. A victory won in tears over the last years. But a victory nonetheless. And nothing's ever going to be the same again. Globally. Just like nothing in the USA, in politics, is ever going to be the same again. Because we're in a new era. What's that about? Well, join me for that. I'll be back with more on that ASAP, because I'm sort of feeling a bit more energized. I took a break there as part of recovering from health issues I had developed about, say, 6 or 8 months ago. All resolved now. Terrific. And without the use of pharmaceutical products, but with focused nutritional, focused supplementation, and focused diet. Okay. I'll be back with more real soon. I hope you join me for that. But in the meantime, as we get ready for the new world that awaits, this has been the best geopolitical analyst you never heard of, Fintan Dunn, reporting the beautiful truth. And I do hope you'll join me soon. I'll be back. See you then.